Very warm welcome, 8th of February 2022. This is the 10th meeting of this year, 2022. Already, this is a 10th meeting. Can you believe it? We've already gone past so many meetings for this year. And we have only a few months left now. March, April, May, June. From July onwards, a new Toastmasters year starts. So the days are going, weeks are going, months are going, and the year also goes. Time moves on, irrespective of what we do. So it's always better to be in the positive frame of mind and move with the time. And today's theme, because it is so near the 14th of February, which is the Valentine's Day, is we have our VP Education who has given us this quote: "Love is what happens when two hearts find their place right beside each other." Quite an interesting one. It's unknown. Yes. And love is the basis of the whole universe. If we want to actually speak about a generic statement, it is because of love that each and every one of us is existing. And love not only creates us, it enriches us, and it helps us to create a world where everyone is happy with each other, everyone is loving each other, and everyone is taking care of each other. So with that note, I would like to introduce our role holders today. As we know, there are multiple role holders who make the meeting successful along with the speakers. So I would like to ask the timer of this meeting, Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, to please help us understand what your role involves in. Thank you very much, Sanjeev.
Thanks, Amish. So I'll be keeping track of time for each one of your speeches, and what I have just done some color code. So if I turn red color, it's an alert for you that you're almost reached the time you're supposed to speak. If I turn green color, then that means, yeah, sorry, I said wrongly. So if it is a green color, then you are almost reach your time, and if it is red color, then you are exceeding the time. So you keep checking my background, and it will give you your time, how much time you speak, and I'll keep a note of time of each and every speech, and at the end of the meeting, I'll share you my report. Yeah, thank you, Samish.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Just to add to what Sanjeev has said, we have three speeches today. Two of those speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. So Sanjeev will have a green light at the 5 minute 6. At the 6 minute, he'll have the orange, and at the 7, he'll have the red. And the last speech today is an icebreaker by Shane Halligan, and that'll be 4 to 6 minute speech. So it'll be 4 minutes green, 5 minutes orange, and 6 minutes red. Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Now we go to the next role, which would be the grammarian role. I would like to invite Sharon Dooley to help us understand what the role involves in, and of course, give us the word of the evening that we should be using. Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm looking for all your oohs and ahs and your crutch words this evening, but I'm also looking for the word of the evening. I don't know if this comes out the right way. Cognizant. I was looking up on Toastmasters today for ages, and it was a word that I came across on the Toastmasters site. So it's cognizant. It means having knowledge or awareness. To put it in a sentence for you, statesmen must be cognizant of their political boundaries within which they work. So it's about being conscious and aware. And I'll pop it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Now we go to the next role, which would be the grammarian role. I would like to invite Sharon Dooley to help us understand what the role involves in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I'm cognizant of the fact that Monica has just entered into the meeting. Welcome, Monica. Now we go to the next role holder of this meeting, who would be our general evaluator. And I would like to invite Daniel Wallace all the way from America to help us understand what general evaluator role involves in. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As general evaluator, I will be taking copious notes throughout the meeting, being cognizant of various aspects of the meeting. And I believe my charge is to evaluate the evaluators and also call on the other functionaries as time goes at the latter part of the meeting, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for helping us with the general evaluator role today. Now we go to the first part of the meeting, which would be the topic session. And I would like to invite Siobhan Fitzgerald to the virtual stage to lead us in the topic session and also help us understand what topics master role involves in. Thank you very much, Siobhan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster and Mr. President. Yes, so my role tonight is that of Topics Master, and I, cognizant of the time of year that we're in and that we're so close to Valentine's Day, and also cognizant of the theme of the meeting, that lovely quotation that was at the top of the agenda, also cognizant of how important love, the impact love has on all of our lives. My topics tonight are going to have a slightly love theme. My role is to give out topics, and the first speaker will speak for 2 minutes. So the timer will indicate when the 2 minutes is up. I will allow add-ons, but tonight I'm going to try to have 1 add-on max, because we benefit most from the topics when there are not too many add-ons. So I might start if I don't call on you, if you have your hand up after 1 add-on, please don't be offended. We'll be just moving along nicely. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I know you're all up for it. So will we get started then, Mr. Toastmaster? Is that okay? Lovely, thank you. And I just ask the timer, maybe Mr. Toastmaster, you could let the timer know to give me a yellow light when we're at the last topic, when I need to start winding up in terms of time. So my first topic tonight is, and this might sound familiar, love is what happens when 2 hearts find their space between one another. That lovely quotation from the top of our agenda. So I'm going to give that one, surprise, surprise, to our VP Ed, who recommended it. What does that mean to you, Anna?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. Love is what happens when 2 hearts find their place right beside each other. Well, I think it's just a beautiful way of emphasizing how in life, when we find someone that we can share that love with, everything just falls into place. So it doesn't have to be our significant other. It could just be our children. It could be our own parents, our grandparents, anyone with whom we share that feeling of love. And I suppose kindness and just some sort of affection. I think that it is very important that we have that in life, that we are cognizant of how valid love and affection are for our happiness and in our lives, but also that it's not just the love between partners that's the love that matters. It's any kind of love that we have for anyone or anything that we're passionate about. And I believe that that's the key to actually being happy and to to realizing to realizing our own potential is what I'm trying to say. And yes, that's it, I think. Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. I look forward to Valentine's.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you. Would anybody like to add on to that topic? Going, gone. Okay. Oh, wait, we have a hand up. Helen, over to you.
Madam Topics Master, I'm very aware of the fact that that great space that you're talking about between two people who love each other dearly. And I'm very cognizant of the fact that this last night on the television, they were showing how many people, and especially women, were abused by their partners. And you have to say, what happens to that wonderful love that started as love and ended up in another space? Did they break that space between one another? Did they never have it in the first place? Or did they have a huge misunderstanding of what love is? One wonders what happens when love crumbles in that sort of way. And it's not to diminish the fact that so many others do find love and know what love is, how valuable and caring and precious it is when you find someone to love, or even when you have people who are loving in your life. So I think having met any kind of a loving experience and have it for a long time is really, really important. This week I celebrate, in fact, it's tomorrow, the first anniversary, the month's anniversary of a friend of mine who was 94. And I don't know if many of you know her. She was Mel Flynn. She was an incredible person to know. She was an incredible lady of extremely wonderful talents. She was a very artistic, creative, caring, loving, supporting. Oh, there are so many adjectives you could be cognizant of for that lady. She was absolutely a wonderful friend. And I miss her dearly, and we loved one another dearly. She lost her husband at 49, her son at 49. She had cancer of the bowel. She survived a car accident, and the surgeon said to her she'd never walk again. And she said, "I will." And that was how she lived. She lived in, "I will." And she did. And at 92, she produced wonderful plays in the little theatre in Athlone. And when you go down to meet her, she was reading either Shakespeare, Einstein, at 92 with no glasses. And you'll be sitting looking at her and saying, where did she come out of? But she was an absolutely wonderful person to know. So it's a great treasure to have that in your life. And I miss her a great deal. The whole subject of that space between people when it occurs, and I love the fact you can create a heart with your fingers, isn't it? Happy way to do it. And in between the spaces is the best part. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Helen, for sharing that lovely, inspiring story and a heartfelt story. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but just to remind everybody that the follow-ons, whereas the initial response to the topic will be 2 minutes, the follow-ons will be 1 minute. So thank you, timer, for noting that. My second topic then, my next topic is, I was very saddened recently to hear about the death of Meatloaf. Brought back many memories of my teenage years in the 80s, and especially that song, "I Would Do Anything for Love." Francis, would you do anything for love?
Would I do anything for love?
Yes.
I haven't had much experience of love, so I don't really know it because of illness and I suppose because I'm an evangelical Christian, you have to stay within your own crew. So I feel, how can you love when you've never experienced it? Of course, I would do anything for love. I would die for it. If I met a girl that I really loved, and if she were ill, I would be happy to swap and get into that bed and have her in good health. I would find it very, very hard to watch someone I love die. I would certainly do anything for love. I think it's an incredible gift. It breaks my heart to have to say I've never experienced it, but I do know that I would do anything for it. Being an evangelical Christian has robbed me of it. Illness has robbed me of it. And there's not much I can say, but I would do anything for it. And I would die for the person I love. And that is certainly the way it is for me. But in a sense, yeah, I would do anything for love. But I've never experienced it in my life. Even when I had a relationship, I can't say I really loved. It was more a convenience. Love is very, very deep, and I know that that depth is there. And I truly want that to happen. But I do know that if I were to meet a girl, that I would die for her if any harm came to her. No different than a mother jumping in front of a bus to save their child. I believe I would do that to save someone I love. So yeah, I would do anything for love.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you very much. Any add-ons? Well, as Meatloaf said, just the end of that was, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I think that was the end of the song, whatever that was, I'm not too sure. But when I was growing up, we always had, can't remember the magazine this was in, but there were these little cartoons of love is ... And it left it open to us to complete what love is. So I thought it might be interesting this evening just to do a quick round of everybody here on the screen and just ask you to finish that sentence, one sentence from everybody. Love is ... So I'm going to start with Samesh. Love is...
Love is caring for the other person and making them feel secure and happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samesh. Daniel, love is...
Love is complex, considering there are many different kinds of love. And to keep it very brief, I mean, because there are many different kinds of love, there are different ways of expressing love. So to be brief, love is complex.
Thank you, Daniel. Helen, love is...
Madam Toastmaster, love is, to me, love is all around. It's everywhere to be found. It can be found in extraordinary relationships that you have in your life. And I've had a lot of them. And I'm very grateful for all of them. My aunt was wonderful. I think I did a story on Mamie. I did a story on an old lady that I met in a wheelchair association. And she fooled me to drive to Dublin for me to buy a wedding present. And the wedding present was for me. I had extraordinary experiences of people loving you incredibly in different kind of ways. And I think you can find it anywhere and everywhere. And it is all around, and it is in all the wonderful people I've met in my life. And I have to say, I've met a serious amount of wonderful people. and all of them share something incredible with you, whether you want to call it friendship, love, caring, sharing, thoughtfulness, idealistic. I'd have what I call cerebral friends, where we constantly relate on a head basis. And I appreciate all of them. To say that I love them, yes, and yes, you love it. You love all these experiences, and they touch you very strongly. So yes, I think love is all around.
Thank you, Helen. So love is all around, and the challenge here is to keep it in one sentence. So I'm going to move on. That was a long sentence, Helen, but it was well worth listening to. So I'm going to move on now to Sharon. You're next on my screen. Sharon, love is
a dish best served warm with plenty of seconds and lots of leftovers.
I love it. I think I'm hungry. Thanks, Sharon. And Sanjeev, over to you. Love is.
Yeah. So love for me is selfless care. What the mother care for their child. It's a completely selfless without any reason. So love for me is selfless.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you. That's lovely. Lovely. Antoinette, love is
that cup of tea that is brought to you when you're having a well-deserved lie-in on a Saturday morning.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you, Antoinette. Francis, love is.
Love is patient, love is kind, slow to anger and rich in mercy. And I like Sajib's definition as well. But that's what love is.
Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you. Monica, love is.
Love is a verb, not a substantive. So those are the actions that define love in general. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you very much, Monica. Shane, over to you. Love is.
Love is finishing each other's sentences, and that's it. Just making the other person feeling happy.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. Anna, love is.
Love is not being cognizant of the other person's shortcomings. So to put it shortly, love is blind.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Super, super responses. Thank you all. My next topic then is for Sharon. I'm going to give it to you. Sharon, what do you think is the greatest form of love?
The greatest form of love reminds me of a song. I don't know who actually wrote it, but it was "The greatest love of all is happening inside of me." I found the greatest love of all. And for me, love starts with loving yourself. And that sounds really selfish to lots of people, very Mayfain. But I think if you love yourself first, you have so much more to give to other people because you're a complete person. You love yourself. You've got to know yourself. You can be authentic. You don't have to pretend. You can trust in yourself and allow others to trust in you. You're a happier person because you're complete. Therefore, happier people tend to be nicer people to be around. Most people think, you put on your own seatbelt first on a plane or your face mask first on the plane, and then you help other people. And a lot of people would think that's very selfish. I myself used to think when you had children, surely you'd give them the last slice of bread if you were starving. Only as I got older did I wise up to the fact that if I was starving to death and I didn't take that last bread, I couldn't go out and get more and provide for anyone else. I'd be useless. So based on that, I think I need to fill up my own self-love cup first, have it overflowing so I have loads of love to give to everyone else.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sharon. Any follow-ons to that? The greatest form of love? Okay, great. We will move on. And my next topic is going to go to Antoinette. Antoinette, what is your favorite love song?
Okay, my favorite love song is from the 80s. Probably Lady in Red, Krista Berg. Always loved that song. But I suppose also it came from a time when I was young and going out and meeting people, and songs from that particular decade, you could hear that song and it would transport me back even now to the 80s and when Krista Berg was on Top of the Pops and he was #1 with that song, and I was down the fields. I can remember it was the summer, and for anybody that's living on a farm in Ireland and the hay was being saved, and the last thing my father wanted to hear that Krista Berg is going to be on Top of the Pops, so I'll be leaving the hayfield shortly. When everyone was out and all my uncles and everyone came to the farm in the days, that time everyone helped out. Marvelous memories. You'd be out in the hayfield till 11 o'clock at night. But I can still remember leaving, watching the time, racing up through the fields to the house, watched my Top of the Pops, heard Krista Berg, and then turned and back down and finished out the night in the hayfield. But that would be one of my top songs, albeit many songs came after. But I think sometimes music and song has the power to bring you back to time and recall memories. And I'll never hear that song without thinking of that time now and thinking of my father and the hayfield when I suppose it was a love song. And it just, I suppose, evokes many happy memories of my teenage years. And now they'd be #1s in songs and they may not mean as much, and they'd be fabulous songs and I'd appreciate them as they come and they go. But songs, I suppose, that mean something to you, and we're talking about love and bring back happy family memories full of love, and for that reason that's my #1 song. Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Antoinette, and you will be happy that you spoke as far as the red light. Coincidentally. Fantastic. Well done. Francis,
Exactly 2 minutes. Exactly 2 minutes.
Exactly 2 minutes. I think she was waiting for the color red. But anyway, you got it. Francis, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I have many love songs, but perhaps the one that stands out most is a Kenny Rogers song, Eyes That See in the Dark. It's a selfless love. When you think of eyes that see in the dark, it's something that no one else sees, only those who love each other. And it's actually the B-side of Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, Islands in the Stream. And it's not a very well-known song, but ABC have a song, Room in Your Heart. And that's a song I really love. It's very, very, there's great depth in it. But as I said, and I said in one Toastmasters, if I get engaged, and hopefully I will sometime, Backstreet Boys, As Long As You Love Me. I think it's one of the most powerful songs, and it's the perfect song if you're getting engaged. It is the best. And if I do get engaged, which I do hope I will, that will be the song I'll be playing. And by the time I get to her, I'll be putting up the ring and I'll just be finishing that song. And I will have said everything. in that song. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you. Wonderful. And our next topic then, I want to give this one to Monica. Monica, what color is love?
Thank you very much, Madam Topic Master. Yeah, the color of love is rainbow color. There is always a different color that represents different stages during the love. And sometimes love could be very passionate, like red. Sometimes could be very could involve some angry or some sad. It's not like a green, blue. So I think love is multicolors, and love. That's the importance and the nice thing of love. But even in all those colors, the brightness of each color is the important thing. And yeah, but most of the time I'll see love bright with a lot of light, and yeah. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much, Monica. Are there any other follow-ons for the color of love? Anna?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. Yes, I just wanted to say that I have recently become cognizant of how colors are assigned to different feelings and emotions. We are at a stage with my toddler that we are really discussing these things. There are many tantrums happening, so emotions are a very valid point of discussion every day. And I've noticed in all the books that I've acquired for this purpose that despite what we might think from pop culture and media and all that, love isn't actually red. Love is usually associated with the pink color. Red is anger. So even though many of us, when we think love, we see red hearts popping up everywhere, red roses, red cards for Valentine's Day, not really. Red is actually associated with anger. So it's a very interesting thing to note that this is actually the way things are described when we talk about emotions and how to regulate these emotions. So that's all. I just wanted to make you cognizant of this. Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Anna, for making us cognizant of that. I think I'm just going to slip away now and change my red top into a pink one. Cognizant that I made a mistake tonight, but anyway, in my appearance. The next topic, thank you, Anna. Next topic, then, I'm going to give this one to Helen. Helen, one of my very fond memories of the 1980s and being a teenager in the 1980s, I'm giving away my age, was the slow sets at the discos. I don't know, did you have any experience of the slow sets at discos? And are you aware that they don't have slow sets at discos anymore? And what do you think of that? Is that a good idea, bad idea?
I also remember songs like, hold your body much closer to me. I can hear your heartbeat. I can hear your heartbeat. My heart's on fire. And so on. So they were the songs I danced to, and like you're calling it, the slow hand dance. Because hands could be everywhere. And so the slow dance didn't just draw the couple together. In the old days in disco, they squeezed them together. You had no space. So you had all of that going on, and suddenly the music stopped and they were gone. So this drawing and departing and drawing and departing went on for a long time. So the slow hand dance or the whatever, what did you call it, Madam Topics Master? You had cognizance of another thing.
Slow set or slow.
Oh, slow set.
Yeah.
Yes. And when somebody asked you for a slow set, you said, beware. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Helen. I don't know, is anybody else here old enough to remember a slow set? Would anybody else like to contribute? Oh, Antoinette, you're giving your age away.
Indeed, I'm an 80s girl as well. And I actually had this discussion with my children, teenagers, young adults, about the slow set and the way that the nightclubs and the discos are operating now. Very, very different from the 80s. And I actually think they're missing out on something in not having the slow sets and having the opportunities for someone to ask them to dance and to try and get to know them a little bit better. And you had an opportunity to actually speak to someone and maybe find out something like their name. They're missing out on all of that now because that does not happen anymore. And I won't go into the details of what happens, but I feel they're missing out big time on the basics and having a bit of fun. And you had a couple of nice songs there and they got to know each other, and many things might happen, like Helen alluded to as well, but they were a thing of the time, I suppose, and they are the 80s and possibly into the 90s for a while. But my thoughts are that they should be reintroduced back into the discos and the nightclubs. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Antoinette. Thank you so much. I would actually be in full agreement with you. I do think young people are really missing out. And I think even for many reasons, but even just in terms of just being held and having that hug, and even just that social awareness of whether to turn their head this way or that way, or to say thank you after one dance or two dances. There was so much learning in that slow set that has been lost. So maybe we'll have some kind of a movement to try and reintroduce it. My next topic I'm going to give to Shane. Shane, I would love to hear your thoughts on a broken heart. And is it a real physical phenomenon?
Do I think a broken heart is real? I do think a broken heart is a real physical phenomenon. Like, you know, once you have a broken heart, or anyone who experience having their heart broken can feel like they're sad, they're lonely, they're depressed, and it hurts. I think your body gives out a hormone saying it just needs love. I think so. It is a real phenomenon, I think. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Shane. That's
Perfect.
great. Thank you. And I see Sharon's hand up here.
A broken heart reminds me of, I think it's a Japanese tradition where if a dish breaks or a vase breaks, they fix it back together with gold. I think it's called King Sum or something like that. Maybe Siobhan would know more about that. But basically, instead of just throwing out something that's broken, they fix it together and they use gold melted to join the pieces together again and create something new of it. And when we think of a broken heart, I think that the lessons learned and the journey is just like gold dust. And maybe that helps fix a heart together again and turns it into something maybe even more beautiful. Who knows?
Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you. And I had heard of that concept. I don't know what the exact word is, but it also reminds me of the line from Leonard Cohen's song that the crack is where the light comes in. So it might be a similar concept. So I believe I'm on my last topic now, and I see our Mr. President looking quite smug. Hasn't been given a topic yet. So Samesh, it's over to you. And I have a painting hanging in my hall here. And what it says is faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Would you agree, disagree, or what are your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. Could you please repeat that sentence.
So what's written on my poster is faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
Faith. Okay, sorry, I was hearing
Sorry,
it as
faith.
fake. And I was
No,
thinking,
faith,
why is it
faith.
faith? Faith,
Yeah.
hope, and love.
Yeah.
Greatest is love. Wonderful quote, actually. I've never heard about this quote before. Thank you for making me cognizant about this wonderful quote. Faith, hope, and love. And love is the greatest of the three. Something like that. I would say so. I think it is true. I would say so. It is true. Because faith and hope can come from love, I would say. What is faith? What is hope? What is love? Let's try and understand these three things first, and then try and understand how love would be the basis for it. Faith. Faith means if I want to go from here to India, I should have the faith that the aircraft will actually get me to my destination. That is faith. I buy the ticket with the faith that I will be able to get to the destination. And what is hope? Hope is if I'm going to my destination, I would have a hope that I will meet some people there. One of the things I think about all the touring that we do, going to different places, different locations. Of course, seeing the scenery is really wonderful. But along with seeing the scenery, it is to establish the relationship between the people where we go. I think that's where the whole connection happens. We could get connected to nature, but we are not at that level of transcendence that we could actually talk to nature. I think there are some saints like Saint Francis of Assisi. They are at a very transcendental level. They have actually crossed all the material love. And they are able to communicate with nature, and the nature talks back to them. But when we go to another place, along with looking at the beauty of the scenery, the most important thing that we would do is to establish connection with the people. And that connection needs love. So if I go to my analogy of traveling to another place, I need to have a faith that the flight will take me to the destination. And I have the hope that when I go there, I will meet people. And when I reach there, I would establish loving connections with the people when I reach there. So what is the final goal? The final goal is love. But faith and hope is helping me to attain that love. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Samesh. That's wonderful. I see Francis' hand up, so this will be our last response of the topics. Francis, over to you.
Okay. In many ways, hope and love, faith encompasses both. I just want to tell a short story. There was this plane and it was being shaken in the air. The people were praying, kids were screaming, but there was one girl sitting reading a book, totally unaware of the chaos. Now, there was a journalist in the same plane, and he was conscious of that. And he said, if this plane lands, I have got to ask this girl why she's so calm. Well, thankfully, the plane did land, and the journalist went straight to the little girl and said, what were you doing reading in the book? And what was in it? And she said, there was nothing in it. And how could you have been so calm? She said, my daddy was flying the plane. So that was a total trust, a total faith in her father. And where does that come from? It comes from love. It comes from the security of knowing that he was going to be there for her. A child will always run to its mother. It comes from a love. So I really feel faith is what brings love on. Faith is what brings hope. But I would have to say faith is the strongest of faith, hope, and love, because it encompasses both hope and love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Francis. And thank you all. I'm not going to take any more add-ons. Sorry, Helen. I did say I would restrict it to one, and I have been told that it is time. Apologies for that. It was wonderful to hear all of your voices. So I'm going to hand back now to the Toastmaster of the night, Samesh.
Thank you very much, Siobhan, for leading us with such an interesting range of topics all around love. And as the tradition goes in Athlone Toastmasters, one topic goes back to the topics master. And I would like you to complete that sentence that you gave to each and every one of us. Love is ... Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Samesh. Well, love is kind. Love is caring. Love's compassionate. And all of those qualities are as much applicable to self as to others, and probably more applicable to self first, so that we can extend them to others.
Thank you very much. Very profound statement. Thank you so much. We are 9:02. Is it okay if we can meet at 9:05? Apologies. It's only 3 minutes. Or actually, we are 9:03 now. Is 2 minutes okay, or is it too short? Because there are 3 speeches to go. Okay, we'll meet in 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Apologies for a very short break. It was supposed to be 5 past, it's 7 past now. So we have gone 4 minutes. The reason why we are taking a short break is there are 3 speeches and we should not go the whole night. Actually, as Toastmasters, we could spend the whole night together, but I don't want us to do that. So, okay, actually Helen is back as well. Thank you, Helen. So maybe we'll go with the original flow, which is there in the agenda. So we're going to the second part of our meeting, which is the prepared speeches. And we've got a packed agenda today, 3 speakers and 3 evaluators for the 3 speakers. The first speech is by our seasoned Toastmaster, Francis Keenan, who has been in Toastmasters for a very long period. And congratulations to Francis on starting the Pathways journey today in terms of the icebreaker speech from Leadership Development Level 1, Project 1. And to give the objectives of Francis' speech, I would like to invite Helen Keenan to the virtual stage. Thank you very much, Helen.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster. My objectives this evening for Francis' speech are that he should introduce us to his club members as he would in the very first project of Toastmasters. So in order not to invalidate any part of that, I'm cognizant of the fact that Francis will do a wonderful job. So I'm looking forward to hearing his speech. Francis.
Thank you very much, Helen. With a speech entitled, Where the Ending Starts, please welcome Francis Keenan to the virtual stage.
Six months after brain surgery, I joined Toastmasters. And the first words on my icebreaker were, I thought my childish ties would bring me all the happiness there was, and that my nursery was the whole wide world. But something had to drive me out of the nursery into the world of others, and that something was suffering. So suffering brought me into the world of others in Toastmasters. Here, I found a deep unity and warmth that bred a confidence into me. I found new friendships, laughter, and the support and encouragement to take on new responsibilities and to improve my leadership and communication skills. I was brought that first night by a lady, and I enjoyed the meeting, but felt very important and privileged when that lady got up and began to tell everyone what they did good and what they did bad. I felt I truly had been brought there by the boss. As time passed, I began to take on roles from the timer to the Toastmaster. But the role I was terrified of was when it came to evaluating another Toastmaster. And when I did, it was a disaster. I can still remember looking down at her with tears in my eyes and saying, "I'm sorry." That young trainee guard never came near Toastmasters again. But recently, I was driving into Dublin and was pulled over by a young guard. And she knocked at the window, as guards always do. And I let down the window and she said, "Do you realize that you're doing 60 kilometers an hour in a 50-kilometer zone?" I said, "No, I didn't realize that, guard." Well, she said, "I'm writing out a ticket." And as she put her head in through the window and handed me the ticket, our eyes met and she glared at me. "I've been waiting a long time to catch you." Well, I said the first thing that came into my head, and that was, well, I got here as fast as I could. Now, that was a very poor icebreaker. And 4 points stamped on my license was a very poor evaluation. During my time in Toastmasters, I've held all the positions on the committee, from Fáilte officer right up to president. One of my greatest achievements was as VP of Education, when I steered the club to the President Distinguished Club Award, which is the highest award that can be got at club level. And it was the first time in the history of the club that it was received. My worst and yet my greatest experience was as president. Within the committee, there was a very difficult person, and that caused me to get distracted and go off in a tangent. And that meant that I did not give the rest of my committee the full attention. When you fall, you get up, and you get up quickly. And immediately I canvassed for the position of area director, which I successfully got. And that meant I became responsible for 5 different clubs in the area, which I needed to progress and give and help them to succeed. These clubs were Cavan, Mullingar, Longford, Tullamore, and Athlone. And I ran it smoothly and skillfully. And the area achieved the Select Distinguished Club Award, which is second, Select Distinguished Area Award, which is second to the President Distinguished Area Award. I have had many successes in Toastmasters, but I've also made mistakes. But in Toastmasters, when we make a mistake, it doesn't mean that we're weak. It means that we've learned something that is going to make us strong. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Francis, for a great speech. Lots of stories and great humor as well. Thank you so much. Now we go to the second speech of this evening, which is, we could say she's a relatively new member, but probably not. She's not a relatively new member. The way she has taken up Toastmasters is like a fish would take to the water, as they say. So welcome to Anna Howard for the second speech, which is from the Effective Coaching Level 4, Project 1. It's called An Epiphany. And to give the objectives and purpose of Anna's speech, I would like to invite Monica Salazar to the virtual stage. Thank you very much, Monica.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. The objectives of the speech are that, to develop and apply skills for coaching fellow members or a person outside of Toastmaster who can benefit from her experience, and also to share some aspects of her experience coaching. So go ahead, Anna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With a speech entitled An Epiphany, please welcome Anna Howard to the virtual stage.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow guests, fellow Toastmasters. I am a mother. And I don't know how other mothers do it, but I find it impossible to do much more in a day than care for my children. They keep me occupied 100% of the time. When I'm with them, I'm making countless snacks, engaging in pretend play all day long, reading tons of books, or playing millions of games. When I'm not with them, I cannot help but think about them all the time, worry about them, look at their photos, missing them all the time. Which is why it wasn't easy for me to figure out what my coaching project could entail. Fortunately, one evening, I had an epiphany. I ran a 10-week-long English language course for adults. My goal was simple: to help them acquire necessary skills to improve their language abilities. It was the first time I have ever done something like this. Not only have I never taught a group of people older than 2 to 6 year olds, but also I have never attempted to help people to speak better English in 10 weeks. As Barry Schwartz once said, the secret to happiness is low expectations. And that's exactly what I had going into this project: low expectations. I didn't know what to expect at all, not really. I devised the course plan, split all the important grammatical concepts into smaller, manageable steps, or at least that's what I hoped. I prepared many speaking, writing, listening, and reading opportunities and dove head first into it. The first thing I did when I met my students was find out what they wanted to improve on. What were their expectations from the course? What did they hope to achieve at the end of the 6 weeks? What did they want from me? And once all that was established, I led them through the complexities of English grammar, pronunciation, and syntax. We learned together, we laughed together, and we often complained about how difficult English could be together. For the first few weeks, I presented them with all the necessary information, the tenses, the adverbs, phrasal verbs, and whatnot. And I was the one who spoke most. But then, slowly, as they gained more confidence and acquired new skills, I allowed them to take over. While I still provided support, I corrected their mistakes and introduced another bit of theoretical knowledge here and there, since they had already been given the skills they needed to draw the necessary conclusions. I let them try and make sense of things on their own. It's not always possible when coaching someone, but in this case, I was fortunate enough that I was able to observe my students' progress through improvements in fluency, grammatical skills, and expanded vocabulary. Week after week, I could hear that some of them have really come into their own, while others, unfortunately, remained behind, still struggling to put things together. Because of the length of the course, I decided that I needed to show my students ways in which they could expand their knowledge, ways in which they could learn to explore their potential by maximizing their own performance. Sometimes I was a teacher, especially at the beginning, but for the most part, I was helping them to learn rather than telling them what needed to be done. I don't think I will ever really know if what I tried to achieve made any difference to the way these people learned and absorbed information, to how their knowledge of English expanded. But since, like I said, the secret to happiness is low expectations, I, at least, can confidently say that I came out of this experience a very happy person. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Anna, for an interesting epiphany speech. Much appreciated. We go to the third speech of this meeting, which will be given by our new member, Shane Halligan, who has joined us recently. Congratulations, Shane, on starting with your icebreaker. Huge round of applause to Shane. And to give us the purpose and objectives of Shane's speech, I'd like to invite Antoinette Gately to the virtual stage. Thank you, Antoinette.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Well, this is, as you said, Shane's first speech, his icebreaker speech from the presentation Mastery Pathway. It's level 1, project 1. It's a 4 to 6 minute speech, and the purpose is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. Thank you.
With the speech entitled Getting to Know Me, please welcome Shane Halligan to the virtual stage.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Can I share my screen then? Or should I just do a speech? Oh, sorry, I think you're on mute.
No.
Oh yeah, you can share.
Okay.
The green button.
Yes, you'll be able to
Perfect.
share, Shane. Yes.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, folks. Well, firstly, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here today. I heard a lot of great things about Toastmasters, and that's why I would like to join and attend the speech. So I read the objectives of the speech, and I suppose the primary objective is to introduce myself to the club. And so I said I'd just put my CV on a few PowerPoint slides. So firstly, what I'm going to talk about. Oh, yeah, so basically I have 2 dogs. The dog over to the left is Lidu. She's around 7 years old. And our dog to the right is Groot. He's 2. He's new. We only got him 2 years ago, obviously. but we named him Groot because if you ever lost him on his dog tag, it'd be called I Am Groot, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I suppose keeping with the theme of this Toastmasters presentation is love. There back in November, I got married to the love of my life, Cecile. We actually got married in France. And so that's basically my life to date. So my education, I'm from Athlone, so I went to AIT. I did a degree in mechanical engineering. I got offered a position as to do a master's in materials science, and I slowly progressed on to doing a PhD in polymer engineering for my troubles. Then where I worked in the Applied Polymer Technology Centre. So it's kind of like a gateway centre for Enterprise Ireland funded. And we do everything polymers there. We used to injection mold. So injection molding is the metal processing technique where you get your polymer, you melt it, and you form it into a particular shape. So like phone covers, TV covers, monitors, everything's injection molded. Even like 80% of your car is probably injection molded or goes through some kind of metal processing. So I did a lot of that, and I also did a lot of polymer characterization for different companies. So a lot of times a part would fail, and I would investigate it through mechanical properties or chemical analysis why that part failed. During my work experience, or when I was working in AIT, I used to write publications. So one of my topics with my PhD was synthesizing of smart polymers. A smart polymer is actually like a normal polymer, but it can react to external stimuli. So I did a lot of that. And, the application we did was for polymer characterization for bio applications. And I think my 4 minutes is nearly up. So that's just a few slides of who I am and what I do. So thanks for everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shane, for a great icebreaker speech. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We've come to the end of the second section of the meeting. The first section was the impromptu speaking. The second section was the prepared speeches. Now we come to the third section, which is the section of evaluations and reports. To start the third section, I would like to invite the evaluator of the first speech of Francis Keenan, who is Helen Keenan, to the virtual stage to please help us with your findings of Francis Keenan's speech. Thank you very much, Helen.
Mr. Toastmaster. I'm muted, I am, sorry. Well done, Francis, on a lovely speech. Francis, it was a hearty speech. It was honest. It was honest to the core. You were very, very cognizant of the fact that words have impact on other people. And I loved the story of the guard and you, and how the guard waited to get a one-upmanship on you. It was a very, very good story. You give great descriptions of all your successes in Toastmasters and how, having had brain surgery, that must have been difficult on you, but you overcame all of that. Then you showed us all your successes and how your Toastmaster journey went, how you took timer, Toastmaster, evaluator, education vice president, area director. So you were very, very cognizant of all your successes and achievements in Toastmasters. And obviously, Toastmasters has meant a great deal for you. And I loved your last line on how when we make mistakes, mistakes make you stronger. So all of that, the whole body of the whole speech was really very good and enjoyable. Now, the only thing, Francis, and I'm going to have to say to you this, for an improvement, smile. Let us see that you're enjoying what you're saying to us. Look at, I did all of these things and it was wonderful to be an area director. And it was superb to ending as the best in the British Isles. So let's hear that in your voice. You were so delighted. And a smile to go with it. Because you were deadpan talking all the way through us, and you were the best area director, you were the best this. We didn't hear it from you. We didn't hear how much it meant to you. So in your voice, we have to hear it and a passion for with it. So I look for smile and passion. They have to become emanated on your face, Francis. And when you're taking, just let us see how you enjoyed all those things. And then it was always the mistake. They don't matter in Toastmasters. Toastmasters don't mark your mistakes. They remark who you are and how well you have achieved things. So Francis, you have achieved immense things. Let us see and hear us. So Toastmaster, you have no problem speaking to us, no problem delivering a speech, no problem composing a speech. But you have to let us see you, Francis. Show us your happiness now, Francis. Well done. I'll take a smile.
Yeah, I'm smiling now.
Good, better than that now.
I couldn't do better than that.
You can.
I remember to do it next time.
Good. Right, Francis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helen. Evaluations is some place where it always helps us to improve. So thank you for your comments. Now we go to the evaluator of the second speech, Monica Salazar, to please give us the evaluation of Anna Howard's speech. Thank you very much, Monica.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. It was a great speech, Anna, as usual, very well delivered. I think you achieved what was expected from the speech. So it was very interesting how you share with us the epiphany that you had and how you start to work in that project with the students and all the achievements that you got with them and how you were working with your coaching there. So that was something really good. Related to your confidence, it was very clear. The message that you deliver was very clear. I noticed that it was a good engagement from the audience. Most of us were paying attention and listening carefully to what you were explaining. And yeah, probably some of us sharing some feelings about the visiting of a mother or the how to work with other people as coaching or helping them to be better. You look also very comfortable during the delivery. You used a great vocabulary variety all through the speech. You had a good body language and eye contact with, seems to be with us. What else I can say? Yeah, it was full of energy also. And at the end, yeah, I think it was achieved completely that you share with us the experience that you have as coaching somebody else. Probably something can be improved, would be just probably using some material or something else to give us more visualization about your speech, which I think would be fun to know, to have probably some pictures with you and doing this experience coaching others or with your students. I don't know, something like that. But in general, very good. So it was great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Monica, for a great evaluation. And I think, I'm not sure whether you have done evaluation before in the actual Toastmasters meeting. I think you had been doing it in the speechcraft. So congratulations on doing a great evaluation. Probably for the first time, I would say. So congratulations. Thank you so much. Now we go to
Thank
the
you.
report section of the meeting, and we will have.
I have an
two-
evaluation.
Sorry. Yes, we have the third evaluation, which is the evaluation of Shane Halligan's speech. And to evaluate Shane, we'd like to invite Antoinette Gately to the virtual stage. Thank you very much, Antoinette.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And firstly, well done, Shane, on a most enjoyable speech, on your very first speech in Toastmasters. And this speech marks the beginning of your Toastmaster journey. You were very cognizant of all of your goals. Your aim was to introduce yourself to the club, and you did this in a lovely, comfortable manner. And we all now know a little bit more about Shane Halligan. And that was the aim of your speech tonight. So Shane, well done. You met that goal. I liked the way you opened the speech, Shane. You explained what you were going to do. You set that out very clearly to us, how you were going to structure your speech and how you intended to work through it. And you described it like a CV, a kind of a setup of Shane and his life, and you're going to bring us through the stages. So immediately I could imagine a nice structured speech and how you were going to work through it. Your language was very clear, easy to understand you. You had a nice, calm, clear voice, and your speech was well organized. I liked when you introduced us first. You introduced us to your two dogs, and you told us about your wedding in November, and you went to France and got married to Cecile, and you could feel the love in your voice, and you linked that back, which I thought was fantastic, to our theme of the evening. Our theme of the evening was love, and for someone to do that in their first speech and their icebreaker was an excellent achievement. So well done, Shane, on that. I thought that was a lovely touch in the speech. You then moved on and you were very comfortable and knowledgeable while you were talking to us about your time in Athlone in AIT. And I could feel that you enjoyed your time there. And you moved through, you did your degree in mechanical engineering, you did your master's, you did your PhD. And you talked about polymer engineering. And even though I wouldn't know much about polymer engineering, I still could take from what you said, and I understand that 80% of my car is now injected molded and all of that polymer. So thanks to you for sharing your knowledge with us. So it was a very well prepared speech, Shane, and all I can say to you is get working on the next one. We'll all be looking forward to hearing from you again. Well done.
Thank you very much, Antoinette.
Thank you.
Cognizant of the fact that I forgot to ask you to evaluate Antoinette, apologies for that. Now we go to the last part of the meeting, which is the reporting section. And we have the grammarian report first. So I would like to invite Sharon to the virtual stage to give us the grammarian report. Thank you very much, Sharon.
Wow, you guys, I'm so impressed with you and your use of the word today. It's a word that I just learned today, so I'm just delighted. It was used 19 times, which is just awesome. Joint second and third place were Anna and Siobhan, who managed to use the word 4 times. But our winner this evening was Helen, 6 times. Well done. Full of boss for you, Helen. That's amazing. You know, there was a few pauses, and pauses are amazing to use in the when you're talking instead of your ums and your r's. I actually only got 1 tonight, which is a record. It must be a record, or maybe I just didn't pay attention, but I think I did. And it was I'm saying now because I used it once. Okay. It was lovely. And in a pause, it gives the listeners time to catch up with what you're saying. Everyone's brain works differently. So to have that little pause instead of using a crutch word is great. Some lovely words, a hearty speech, said Helen. That was gorgeous. Monica's table topic, her whole answer was gold dust. Shane's Disney quote of love is finishing each other's sentences just had that song ringing in my head for the rest of the table topics. And Francis using such a strong statement that he would die for love. That just hit me in the heart. It was brilliant. Helen's slow hands description was wonderful and quite humorous, so I enjoyed that as well. But overall, your language was just amazing this evening. Well done, everyone. Thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for a comprehensive report. Now we go to the report from timer Sanjeev Kumar Sharma in terms of how we did for the speeches and evaluations. Thank you very much, Sanjeev.
Yeah, thanks, Umesh. I have noted the time of its speaker. Start from the topic master. Topic session. So from topic session, everyone speak well. First topic when given to Anna, she speak around 1 minute and 8 seconds. Then Helen spoke around 3 minute and 5 seconds. Frances 2 minutes. Sharon 1 minute and 49 seconds. And Antoinette spoke around 2 minutes. And Frances 1 minute. And Monica around 1 minute and 45 seconds. Then coming to the speech section, where the Francis speech was around 6 minutes and 5 seconds, and Helen spoke exactly around 6 minutes. Sorry, Anna speak around 6 minutes, and Shane speak around 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Then in the evaluation section, the first evaluator, Helen, spoke around 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Monica, second evaluator, spoke around 2 minutes 30 seconds. And Antoinette, third evaluator, spoke around 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's all from my side with the for the timer report. Yeah, back to you, Sumesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev, for a comprehensive report. We have never seen this before in Athlone Toastmasters in terms of actually each and every topics. You have given the time for that as well. Thank you so much for that. Now we come to the final evaluation, which would be the general evaluation. And all the way from America, please welcome Daniel Wallace to give us general evaluation of today's meeting. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. For my general evaluation, it seems as though our meeting started a little bit late. At the posted agenda time, it says 3:15. We started about 8:15. We started about 8:17. Table topic started out pretty good. At about 8:23, I liked the way Siobhan was able to manage the topic. She had an excellent utilization. With only one follow-up. This was one heck of a topic that we got on this topic. We didn't get finished with that topic until 10 minutes after the agenda's posted time for break at 8:50. So we had a good management at the time. We just had this wonderful topic. We kept on going. Currently, we seem to be running about 15 minutes behind time. But I did like how the That seemed to be good. For my general comments of the meeting, it worked a very good meeting. I liked the way how things progressed. It was very educational meeting. I've never been cognizant of anything so much in my life. So that is a good thing. I'm gonna go for the evaluations now. I'm gonna start out with Ms. Helen's evaluation. And I liked how she was able to point out a couple of friendly reminders to Frances. She was able to give Frances it was a great speech, as she noted. She noted that what I had was the vocal variety and maybe some body. You got used to Sam, that was good. Monica had the same thing. She said it was her first time utilizing the evaluation. I thought she was very thoughtful and had some good, excellent points. As did Monica. The only thing I was thinking about with the third speech is he could have had, if he had indeed had the PowerPoint go on, he could have made we could have made it a point to get those privileges to the certain people who needed them beforehand. Other than that, excellent evaluations with getting the sandwich method in there. That's what I have. Just probably be able to tighten up the time a little bit, but we did come on time, so that's a good thing. That's the general evaluation from America.
Thank you so much, Dan, for keeping it short and succinct.
Yes.
So with this, we come to the end of this 10th meeting of 2022 Toastmasters year. And I would like to end this meeting with a quote, which says that cognizance is a journey, not the destination. Cognizance is a journey, not the destination. Thank you very much for your time today, and it has been a great pleasure spending time with you all in a great meeting of Toastmasters. Thank you so much.